guys are having a wonderful week. For those that don't know me, I'm Penelope. I review books, I do blogs, as well as music videos. But today we're going to be doing a book review. I am saddened to say that today I will be reviewing the final book on the series Culpables of Mercedes Ron, or Culpa Mía, which was written originally in Spanish. The My Fault series has been the best series I have read so far. It really does make me sad that I finished it, but I have no doubt that I will be coming back to reread it eventually. Before we start, please know that this video will be full of spoilers. I will be spoiling the entire book. So if you have not read the third book, please go and do so, because I wouldn't want to ruin things for you. Out of the 3 books, I think Our Fault has been my favorite of all 3. It kept me interested from the beginning, and I finished this book in 2.5 days, and it was 2.5 days because I had to work. Otherwise, I probably would have finished it within a day. It was the best book I have read so far. So let's recap. At the end of the second movie, Your Fault, and at the end of the book, we see that Noah and Nick end up breaking up because Noah slept with Michael. And so the book picks basically right up from there. So Nick finds out Noah cheated on him. He's completely destroyed. In the book, he says that Noah was the only person that could hurt him beyond return, beyond being able to come back from. So in book 2, Nick tells Noah all the time, I love you and I'm giving you my heart, please don't break it. And because of a misunderstanding caused by third parties, Noah ends up cheating on Nick and breaking his heart. Throughout the third book, Noah makes endless attempts to ask for forgiveness from Nick, to tell him that she does want to be with him, that she does love him, but he can't overlook the fact that she cheated on him. And I understand. I put myself in both Noah and Nick's shoes, and I say, man, Noah messed up bad, because if it was me, I don't think I would be able to forgive someone for cheating on me, right? Even if you were tricked into it, like you took the first opportunity and you went and did what I told you, that would hurt me. So I put myself in both of their shoes. However, things were not easy for them. The entire book is a back and forth between if they would be getting back together, if they can overlook the past, if they can move forward. And that's what keeps you interested, because it's kind of like the first love that we see in the first book. They had to fall in love all over again, and that's what I loved about this book. Everything starts at Jenna's wedding. Jenna's getting married, guys, and I was here for it. So Noah was like, I'm her best friend, of course I'm gonna be there. She knew Nick would be coming to the wedding as well, and they hadn't seen each other in about 10 months. So there was a lot of tension, a lot of anxiety going around. Noah lost 15 pounds in the time that they had broken up and they've been away from each other. And Nick had derailed his entire life. He does not believe in love. He's sleeping around just to get his mind off of what happened. Nick's grandfather died and left Lister's enterprise to Nick. He left everything to him. So Nick is super busy and super important. He's been having to make hard choices for the company. And so he is experiencing a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. And at the same time, he has his heart broken and he can't really focus on anything but work, because if he does, he will end up feeling what he's been avoiding the whole time. I can't imagine what it is like to see the love of your life after almost a year, and that they hurt you, right? But you still love them. And so Nick was having that back and forth in his mind. He saw her and he immediately was like, man, I can't get over her. Like, I love her. His flesh wanted her, but his mind was like, you know what she did. I can't say that I don't understand Nick, because if it was me, I would feel the same way. He was angry. He wanted to hurt Noah as much as possible just because he was hurting too. And so at the wedding, they meet, they see each other, there's tension. According to Jenna, she had been waiting for the most amount of time in order to have her wedding because of Noah and Nick. She was like, I've been waiting this long because of you guys. And the whole wedding, Jenna and Lion hoped that they will fix things up and they will get back together. But that's not exactly what happened. In the wedding, Noah felt a little bit of an outcast because, I mean, everyone who was there was friends with Nick, Jenna, and Lion, and she was the only one who had, you know, them in common. So, except for Luca, Lion's brother, who was at the wedding. And so Noah and Luca were together like that whole weekend, basically keeping each other company. He was respectful, he was nice, actually he was friendly, and Noah loved all those things. But until the wedding day, Nick was trying to make Noah jealous, Noah was trying to make Nick jealous, Noah kissed Luca, Nick came and punched Luca, and then he ran out of there. Noah followed him. They had this huge fight because Nick kept saying, I don't feel anything for you. I have already forgotten everything about you, which is not true. And because of that punch in the face that he threw at Luca, Noah was like, you say that you got over me, yet you're here hitting him because he was kissing me. And so they kissed and it was raw and there's like hurt and passion, and things are falling apart from both of their views, and like they do feel like their world has ended because they have lost each other. And when I tell you, I was crying in this chapter, and that was, I think that was like chapter 3, guys. Like it was not long, so it kept me hooked. They did not get back together at all. Forgot to say, the wedding was in New York. Noah flew there just for the wedding, but Nick was already living in New York because of a law firm, and his grandfather's, well, his company now also had headquarters there. So Nick had moved from LA to New York and had been away from Noah this whole time. So that's why they also hadn't run into each other or seen each other. Noah had seen him in like interviews and magazines. After the wedding, Noah decides that she wants to explore New York City. She remembers that Nick was the one who said that he would love to show Noah all about New York, and that was in book 2 at the beginning. And so she decides to rent this really bad motel in a really rough area of New York because she's never been to New York, so she didn't really know where she was at. And eventually Nick finds out that she's there, asks Steve, his bodyguard slash chauffeur slash a bunch of stuff. Steve does a lot. And so Steve goes to the motel, gets Noah, and he's like, Nick wants you to go to a proper hotel. You're in the bad side of town. Noah gets upset because Nick's still trying to rule over her life, even though he doesn't want to be with her. But he keeps tabs on her constantly. So Noah's like, you know what? Take me to his apartment. At this point, we find out that Nick and Sophia decided to be together because when Noah and Nick broke up, Sophia was there for Nick and kind of got him out of this dark place that he had fallen into. They got together, they had sexy time, plenty of time, but they were not exclusive until a point in the book where Sophia's like, yo, my dad wants us to go public, and Nick is like, all right, let's do it then. But Nick feels grateful for what Sophia is doing, but he doesn't love her. He appreciates her as a friend, and he does find her attractive, but like he says in the book, compared to Noah, there's no comparison if you were to put them together. So he actually does say that if he had never met Noah, Sophia would be the one he would fall in love with. But because he met Noah, that scenario is kind of gone. Nick didn't know that Steve had taken Noah to his apartment in New York, and when he gets to his apartment and sees Noah laying down on his bed, which by the way she didn't know it was his bed because the place had like 3 other bedrooms, he is enraged, gets upset. He can't believe that she's there. He has mixed feelings about everything. He hates her but loves her at the same time. So They have an argument. This whole book, they argue all the time. They fight, but that's good because it honestly, they're saying what they feel about what happened, and they do hurt each other a lot. Because as you guys know, you can't take back whatever you say about a person. And so they have a little bit, they did not sleep together in that, you know, scenario. They did not sleep together when they were in New York. However, they did all the things, and at the end of the night, he asked Noah to leave. And I think that's heartbroken for a woman. Like I said, I understand both sides. And Noah was basically tricked into believing that Nick had betrayed her first. And because of that, she ended up doing something that she solely regrets. She loves Nick. She says that all the time. She has never been with anyone after Michael. Michael actually got obsessed with her and wanted to date her. She almost had to get a restraining order. Like, the guy went nuts. And then she found out that he had done the same thing to another girl at a different school. So that's why in my last video, I mentioned that something fell off because the situation that she was vulnerable. He is the psychologist of the school, and he decides to take the opportunity at her lowest, okay? And as a woman, I've been at low points, and you trust someone, and because you can't think clearly at that moment, you believe that they do the best for you, but he didn't. Those are details that Nick doesn't know about, and Noah never shared with him either. And so she leaves New York devastated and goes back to LA. At the end of book 2, we also find out that Maddie, Nick's sister, is in fact his full sister, not just half sister. And so Maddie is now sharing time with her biological father and Noah's mom. And so it's Thanksgiving time, 4 months after New York happened. And Noah decides to go visit Maddie because she doesn't want Maddie to feel alone. However, when she's there, she finds out that Nick decided to join. Well, Nick decided to visit as well, but she thought Nick would only pick her up from the house and then go do whatever and come back and leave her there, but never to see him. And it happens that that's not what goes down. So Noah was staying at her mother's house because she is still in school. And so it was Thanksgiving break. She goes there for a couple of days. And that weekend sets the entire tone for the rest of the book. It is Thanksgiving Day. Noah is getting ready. She goes downstairs, she helps out with the help. I actually love that very much, that she got involved with the help of the house and decided to cook with them. It was kind of cute. It reminded me of one of those Christmas movies. She changes her clothes, comes back down because the guests that are supposed to be there for today are arriving. She opens the door without thinking and she sees Nick standing in front of her, and she's like, oh my God, I didn't even know that he was gonna be here. I thought he was just gonna leave. That's where she finds herself in this uncomfortable place. And so Maddie runs out to Noah, and Maddie is excited because, as we know, she loves Noah. And Maddie is like, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. Nick is super uncomfortable, but he goes up to her and kisses her on the cheek. Noah is like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. So eventually Maddie decides to go on about her day. She goes on to where the others are, and Nick tells her, listen, I gotta talk to you, okay? Maddie doesn't know that we broke up because Maddie wouldn't really understand what that means, even if I were to tell her. So if you can work with me, I will work with you. I won't be a jackass. All right, I won't give you a hard time as long as you promise to do the same, to just go along with it, right? They kind of call it truce. And this truce, it opens the door for a little bit of what I still think is forgiveness. During this weekend, they're getting along. There are some misunderstandings because Nick has had to make really tough choices for the company. And now he is visiting his father, and his father thinks that he has an opinion about what's going on in the company. Nick had to let go and kill 2 accounts that were on their way to bankruptcy for the company, and it was going to make the company lose a whole lot of money in the future. So he decided to do it right away, and he had to let go of a lot of people. Now, the father doesn't really know everything that's going on, but he thinks he has an opinion. He argues with Nick. Everybody is in the living room after dinner, and they can hear them arguing. Nick is upset. He decides to leave because we know Nick has short temper. So he leaves the house, and Noah stays in with Maddie, making sure that she's okay while he's away. So then while Nick is out and about, he runs into Michael at a bar. So the beginning of the third book, there's an incident right after Noah and Nick break up, where Nick, like I said, was feeling hurt, and he went to look for Michael that same night that, you know, they broke up, and he beat him up, okay? He broke 2 of his ribs. Like, he left Michael in a really bad shape. And so Nick was sent to jail. He was sent to jail right away. And because he was sent to jail, they were trying to get him out, but he had already a record because of the street racing that he used to do. And so it was going to be a little bit tricky. So some way, somehow, Michael decided not to press charges, and they let Nick go. However, that's because Noah agreed to go out with Michael, because Michael said, if you go out with me, I will not press charges. I will not press charges. I will let him go. And so Noah was like, fine, I'll do it. Noah didn't go anywhere with him. That was her chance to get Nick out of jail, and she took it. And I would have to, okay, I would have done the same thing. So we fast forward to this night after Thanksgiving. He's upset. He fights with his father. He leaves to a bar. He's drinking, and when he looks to his right, let's just pretend it was his right, I don't know, he's this Michael. Oh, and things go bad. They fight again because Michael said a little smarty comment about Noah, because he did run into Noah by that point. He had run into her after everything that happened, after a year of everything happening. And Noah was terrified. Jenna knew what had happened with Michael. And Michael was giving this creepy vibe of, no, I'm just here because I'm visiting my brother. I'm not here to bother you or whatever. And so Noah is like, you better stay away from me, because I will go and get a restraining order, okay? So you better not play me. And so Nick runs into Michael. Michael was like, Noah looks good. Because why would you say something like that? And Nick beats him up. Steve has to go get Nick because Nick getting in trouble. Steve is like, you know, you can't be acting like you're a child no more, because you have a whole company, all right? And people are looking for ways to take you down. So I need you to have a little bit of patience and composure. He goes back home. He finds Noah studying in the living room. They have a little heartfelt conversation, and Maddie is sleeping upstairs. Noah and Nick seem to be getting friendly. The book gives a little glimpse of the past, of how they used to be. And it's nice, honestly. After all the fighting and all the heartbreak, they're getting this little break, right? The chance to connect again. Black Friday is here. Noah wants to go shopping, which is right the next day. Nick basically tricks Noah into spending some time with him and Maddie. And Noah doesn't understand why this is happening, because according to everything that he has said in the past, he doesn't want to see her or be around her or even know she exists. So Noah is uncomfortable. And she goes to the mall. He picks her up after she's done, and she didn't ask him to do that either. Then they take Maddie to this inside playroom with Steve, and she is, you know, by herself doing her thing. And Nick is like, yo, can you take a walk with me? We can grab something to eat. And they're walking, and on the way there, she feels so uncomfortable because she is feeling like they're together. And the truth was not supposed to be like, we're together. She says that to Nick. I don't know what you're trying to do, but I need you to stop thinking that we're dating, to stop acting like we're dating, because we're not. This is a truth for Maddie, as you said, and you have perfectly said and mentioned many times that you don't want to be with me, even though I have begged you, because Noah has begged him to come back to her. Nick is like, what am I doing? Like, am I crazy? She's right. So they decide to go pick up Maddie, but on their way back, they run into Annabelle, Nick's mom. In this meeting, a lot was said. They do sit down with her at a restaurant, and Annabelle ends up letting Nick know, yo, I got cancer. The reason why I've been trying to reach out to you for so long is to tell you that I am sick. I want you to forgive me. I want you to take care of Maddie. She has to go to some facility in Texas. And so Nick is thinking about Maddie. That now Maddie don't know her dad, her biological father. And now her mother is about to be gone. And then Nick is all the way across the country in New York. He can't come to LA because he has a company to run there first. As soon as he gets things settled in New York, he will be back in LA, but he can't do that right now. So there's a lot going around in his head. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to feel. And that's kind of when he realizes that he's not as mad at his mother as he thought he was. He actually feels sad. He feels like something is being taken away from him again. So he decides to give Annabelle his phone number, which he had never done before. And he tells her to contact him whenever she needs something. And after this, Nick is so upset with the news that he drops off Noah and Maddie at the house and takes off for like 5 hours. So this is one of the most important details of this book. Nick gets back and it's around midnight or so. He goes up to the second floor where the rooms are, and he stands outside of Noah's door, and he feels pain when he passes by. So he stood there and he decides to go in. He finds Noah studying all her books all around her, and Maddie was laying next to her because Maddie can't sleep by herself. Nick was like, I need to talk to you, and Noah hesitant to talk to him, and Nick uses the you owe me, come talk to me. So she feels like she does, she does owe him for everything that has happened. They go out of the room and into his room, and he kisses her. He's feeling sad and betrayed, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. He is lost, and he says that he kisses her and he can breathe again. You guys, like, where my thing go? I'ma just leave it down now. But he's like, why can't I forget you? Why are you the only thing that can help me right now? And I was bawling. I was like, please don't do this to me. This book destroyed me. Emotionally, I'm destroyed. Noah is like, please don't do this. Please don't do this to me, because then you're gonna tell me to leave, and I don't know if I can leave. I don't know what I'll do with my life, okay? And they have sexy time, okay? But when I tell you this was not just sexy time. This was love. And you could tell by everything he did. You could tell. Noah had not been with a man in over a year at this point. After Michael, because Michael was a mistake, she had not been even touched by anyone before. And so things are not as loose as Nick had hoped, because he mentions that, and that's when Noah confesses to him that she has not been with anyone after what happened, after they broke up. And to Nick, this is the best thing she could have said. The book says that Noah was feeling so overcome with caressness that Nick asked her a question. She couldn't even hear him, basically, and she said yes, and things went down. Anyway, during sexy time, she basically begs Nick to tell her that he still loves her. And Nick doesn't say this because he's still hurt. He's still suffering. And I understand both points. Like, I understand Noah and I understand Nick. And I feel so bad for Noah because she loves Nick. She can't live without him. And he obviously can't live without her. But they're so, he's so freaking stubborn, and he doesn't want to admit this. So she's heartbroken after what happens. She enjoyed the night, but she's like, he doesn't love me anymore. So she decides to, what she always does, run away. They didn't see each other for about 3 months. So in the space time wherein they didn't see each other, Noah gets a job at this new company, Baxter, and she didn't realize that this company was part of Nick's company. But she needed a job because her waitressing job was letting her go due to downsizing, and she was like, I need a job. So she decided to take it anyway. Her new boss, Simon, he falls in love with her a little too soon. We know that Noah is pretty. We know that she's gorgeous, you know? She has personality, she's cute. So who wouldn't want to be with her? Simon did ask her out a couple times. She wasn't ready. But eventually she decides to give herself a try. She's been suffering all this time, almost 2 years, without Nick. And so she says to herself, I deserve to be happy too. I deserve to start over. I deserve to be with someone who wants me, who loves me, who wants to be with me. So Simon is that someone. One day, Nick flies in to the Baxter company because it's his company now. They're like a partnership. And he's not happy at all to find Noah there and to find Noah with Simon. There are a lot of details that happen that I won't go into, but what you need to know is that there's this night that they go out to a bar and Simon and Noah are there. Sophia and Nick are together, so like they're in the same place, and they do this whole I'll make you jealous, you make me jealous game. Noah drinks way too much and she is all up on Simon, and Nick can't take it. He can't take it. So he takes off somewhere around the club that they're in. When Noah sees that Nick is not watching anymore, she's like, this is your like, I'm putting this show up for you, but you're not even watching. So she gets upset and she tells Simon, I'm going to the bathroom, I'll be right back. So when she goes to the bathroom, on her way, Nick grabs her, kisses her. She's feeling a little woozy and she's like, dang, I drank way too much. And then Nick decides to tell her he will never make you feel like I feel. That's a classic. I actually love classics. Noah just stands in front of him. She's not even there. And she says to herself, he's right. Like, Simon can never make me feel like Nick makes me feel. And out of nowhere, he runs to this little hallway and starts throwing up like crazy. And I was like, girl, why you drink so much? Nick finds himself in this situation and he's like, I'm taking you home right now. On their way, Noah is like shaking like crazy, and she still feels like she gotta throw up. Nick hugs her. She's like shaking because she's super cold, and Nick is legit worried about Noah. They get to the dorm. He gets her in. Noah is like, you can leave. You don't have to wait for me. I'm not a child. I can take care of myself. Nick is like, I'm gonna leave when I damn want to. Ooh. She goes to the bathroom, throws up again. I was concerned. I was like, this girl got alcohol poisoning because she crazy. She got her period too. Ooh, it was everything at once. She takes a shower, comes out. Nick gives her some medication. She gets into bed and tells Nick to just leave. While Noah was in the shower, Nick found the letter. And this is why the letter is important, because in the movie, it was not a letter. It was something written on Noah's father's stone. It wasn't like that. He gave her a letter and she kept this letter all this time, and she had it like right next to her on her nightstand drawer. Because Nick was looking for medication, he found the letter and he couldn't believe his eyes. He was like, do I still mean these words? And he had the nerve to tell this girl. He said, girl, I mean that. It was hard. Like, it was painful to even read. And I could picture it, and I would have, I would have beat his butt. Because how can you even say that to her? Especially at that moment, like, she feels bad as it is. So the next day, Noah still gotta go into the office. To not go into a lot of details, Nick wants to get rid of Simon, and in the whole fighting, argument situation, Noah goes to Nick, asking to see him at his office, and she tells Nick, I'm quitting because I know you're doing this because of me, and I'm leaving. Later that day, she does go to see Simon, and she attempts to sleep with him, and she can't go through with it because she's thinking about Nick. So the day after that, she goes back to the company to see Nick and confesses her love again. This is like the 5th time this girl has done this. At some point, you gotta have some self-respect. Like, I understand, but if you rejected me one time, I don't think I would put myself a second time, but she did. But not a third and a fourth and a fifth. I think this is the 5th time she is telling him to please forgive her. Please, let's be together, you know? And Nick can't bear it. He can't even hear it. He can't forgive her. He's not ready to forgive her. And he doesn't know if he will ever be ready to forgive her. And so Noah makes the realization that he probably never will. So before she left, she's like, please give us another chance. Like, you know you can't live without me, and I can't live without you. And Nick is like, I gotta go. In the book it says that he felt that he was about to give her his heart again, and he couldn't bear to be brokenhearted one more time. So Nick is like, I gotta go, I gotta get out of here. And Noah gives him an ultimatum. If you leave, this is it. You won't see me again. I will move forward. There's no coming back. And Nick did. He did leave. And this is like one of the saddest scenes because it's like the realization that it is over. And guys, it was over. Until, I forgot to mention this, but the book is divided into 3 parts. So it starts like this, and it says part 1, we meet again. Part 2, getting over it or something. And then there's part 3, which is called the countdown. And I didn't really understand why they did these as in part 1, part 2, but it sounds like, to me, it sounds like a boxing match. In the ring, you got 3, I believe. That's kind of like what I'm looking at. I don't know anything about boxing, guys, okay? Please do not quote me on this. But that's how I saw things. So this is the part 3 countdown, and this is what happens. Noah hasn't seen Nick in about a month and a half after she decided to, you know, put herself out there one more time, which was the last time. Noah is moving out of her dorm and moving into this apartment, which is like very small, but it's just for her, and she paid it herself, so she's happy. And Jenna and Lion are helping her move out. So as they are moving boxes, she is picking up a box and she couldn't get back up. She couldn't. So I'm picturing, because I throw my back out and that hurts. Lion is like, are you okay? And Noah's like, bro, I think I messed up my back. So Lion's like, why are you even picking up those boxes to begin with? So she was trying her best not to move too much, but it was getting worse by the second. So they help her out. They take Noah to Jenna and Lion's house, and she's there because it's just gonna be Jenna and Noah for quite some time. Lion is doing a business deal somewhere that I can't remember, and he has to leave. Like, he's leaving in like 2 seconds after that. So they settle her in the guest room, and Lion is like, well, I gotta go to the airport or I'm gonna miss my flight, but Noah, get better. Ooh, and he leaves. Jenna was like, maybe we should go to the hospital. And Noah was opposed. No, I don't wanna go. So Jenna decides to give her a muscle relaxer, and 2 hours later, it has not worked. So Noah was like, yo, something is bad. Something is wrong. To make things very, very short and straightforward, I knew this was gonna happen. Noah is pregnant, and I was like, oh. If you go back to that scene after Thanksgiving that they had sexy time, Nick asked Noah if she was on the pill, and Noah said yes, she was on the pill. What had happened was she forgot to take it that day, and it didn't come to her until way later. So she finds out she's pregnant, and she doesn't even understand why. And the doctor tells her it is a miracle that she's pregnant because, as you guys know, Noah suffered an injury when she was a child that damaged that part of her body. And they weren't, you know, the doctor told her that if she wanted to conceive, it would be extremely difficult or almost impossible. So the doctor is telling Noah, the fact that you are pregnant, it is a miracle. Noah has a big decision to make. I won't lie to you guys. I feel a little some for this chapter, for this twist, because Noah's 19. You know, she's about to be 20. And I'm like, dang, y'all couldn't do something else? But there were only two things that would make Nick forgive Noah. And being pregnant is one of those things. Noah doesn't know how to tell Nick this. Jenna is the only one who knows. And the doctor put Noah on bed rest. Like, she can't do nothing because she's been trying to lose this child since she got pregnant, but Noah didn't know. What she thought was her period was not her period. It was her body trying to reject the baby. And so she's been bleeding and like every month, but just a lot more than she thought. And she's not consistent either, like she's not regular. So to her was normal, but the doctor was like, no, you've been bleeding and it's not your period, it's you've been trying to abort, you have a hemorrhage. The doctor said you need to stay on absolute bed rest. Like, don't even attempt to go walking somewhere. And so she stays with Jenna for 2 weeks. Lion is asking questions. Lion came back and Lion's like, you still got your back messed up? And Noah told Jenna, don't tell him. Don't tell him I'm pregnant, and don't tell him that this baby is Nick's baby. And Jenna can't bear it. Jenna's like, this is my husband you're talking about. And this is a big thing. Just tell Nick. Nick will take responsibility. And Noah was opposed to that because she didn't want Nick to just take responsibility. She wanted Nick. She's in love with Nick. And she knew what Nick would do when he found out, that he would try to take control over her life, over her pregnancy, and keep her in this cage and choose her just out of responsibility and not out of love. So Noah was like, let's wait 2 weeks, let's see what happens. And if the doctor, if that has cleared up and the baby's okay, because the baby and her were gonna be in danger, then we can talk about telling Nick. She goes to the doctor appointment and it's still a problem. She still got 2 more weeks. Noah looks terrible at this point. According to the book, she's pale and fragile and like she doesn't look like herself really, So Lion's birthday is coming up. Noah tells Jenna, tell Nick to come. I'll tell him then. I'll tell him at the birthday party when he comes. Jenna has been blowing up Nick's phone. You gotta come to this party. You gotta make it to LA. I need you to be here. He's your best friend. She's using all the excuses that she can without blabbing out that it is something else. And so Nick is like, what is up with Jenna? Like, she is unbearable. Like, she's usually annoying, but not this annoying. And at that moment, Nick is driving in New York and he's getting these messages and he keeps getting calls from Jenna and he's upset, so he keeps ignoring it. At this point, he keeps ignoring it. Lion calls and Lion was like, yo, dude, you need to come. You need to come to LA. You need to come for my birthday. And Nick is like, listen, you know I love you. You know you're my best friend. You know I will be there, but I have a lot going on with the company and I don't think I can leave right now. I can't leave right now. I have deals to close. I have meetings. I have people to see. Lion says, listen, it's not me, it's Noah. And when he heard Noah, everything stopped. He stopped the car. He stopped meetings. He called the secretary. He said, cancel everything and book me the next flight out. Because he was like, what is Noah? Like, what do you mean it's Noah? And Lion doesn't know what's going on with Noah. So Lion's trying to explain to Nick, I don't know, bro. Something ain't right. It reminded me of Friends, like Chandler and Joey. Joey calls Chandler and be like, dude, come home.
Hey, Joe. Dude, come home. What? Why? Come home.
I picture that situation. Lion's trying to explain to Nick, but Noah doesn't look good. Like, she threw her back out a month ago and she's still on bed rest. We don't know. I don't know what's going on. Jenna and Noah are hiding something. And I think it got something to do with you, Nick. So Lion he been paying attention to much. Lion suspects something is wrong. Nick is like, say no more. Nick booked the next flight out as soon as he could find, which was not easy to find. And he gets right before the birthday party, like Actually, the birthday party had already started, but he gets to LA. So Nick gets to Jenna and Lyons' house. The party is going. When I tell you tensions are rising, because I was nervous, I was anxious, I was at the edge of my seat with this. Things are about to go down. Things are about to go down. So he gets in there and he is looking for Noah immediately. He's looking for her. The first thing he sees is Jenna. He says, Jenna in Lion. Hey, dude. Hey, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Hugs, kisses, so happiness. Woo! And then he's like, where Noah? Noah is sitting, because she can't move. So Noah is sitting on a couch in the living room. When he goes towards Noah, he sees her and he notices certain things. She's wearing baggy clothes. She looks pale, like she looks like she's sick. He sits in front of her and he's like, hey. And he knew immediately that something was wrong because Noah would have taken off. And that's true. Noah says, if I could have run the other way, I would have. They've been carrying Noah upstairs because she can't even do that. He picks her up. He noticed that she's lighter, takes her upstairs, and they're by themselves. He sits her on the bed. Nick is like, so are you gonna tell me what's going on? What's wrong? And when she was about to tell him, Sophia shows up. Noah loses it. Noah loses her mind and she starts yelling, get out! Why are you here? She grabs a lamp. Nick grabs her and says, what is wrong with you? Jenna comes running. Jenna was like, get out! Why are you here? Like, so Nick is shocked because something is happening and Noah is acting crazy. And he says that you are acting crazy. What is wrong with you? And when she's fighting to get away from Nick, she feels like something slips down and she's like, oh my God, my baby, I'm gonna lose my baby in this. Jenna gets everybody out and gets Nick out as well. And Noah goes to check and everything is sort of okay. To Noah, Sophia is to blame for Nick not wanting to come back to her. Nick told her in New York, those are details that you can read in the book. Nick told her in New York that he was with Sophia, that he wanted to be with her, that Sophia was a woman. And that is offensive for Noah because Noah is, a little young, much younger than Sophia and Nick are. She couldn't tell him that night. She couldn't tell him. She wakes up the next day and she's still trying to figure it out. How is she gonna say it? How would I break the news? And she is so upset with the fact that Sophia was there, and it was most likely because Nick invited her. And it's true, Nick did say, if you want to swing by, you can. But Sophia never confirmed that she would do that. And so he didn't think that Sophia was gonna show up. Noah decides to send him a text message saying, I'm pregnant, and she just sent it. She sent the message and turned off her phone. And then went to Jenna and was like, hey Jenna, I have a craving. Can you take me get some ice cream? And in my head, I was like, girl, you know what? Whatever trouble comes your way, you deserve that because you shouldn't have done that. Jenna takes her to get the ice cream, because she is pregnant, Noah's pregnant and is having a craving, why not? They get to the ice cream shop. Jenna goes in to get the ice cream because of course Noah needs to take it easy. Noah stays in the car and she sees that Nick is calling Jenna. And Lion is calling Jenna. Noah freaked out and turned off Jenna's phone. This girl was running away from her problems. Like, that's something I would do. Eventually, Noah was like, yo, I want to go see a movie. Let's go see a movie. I just want to be out of the house. She was lying. She's just running for her problems. And Jenna is questioning what's going on. She's like, no, maybe we should go back home because you're not supposed to be moving around anyway. And so Noah was guilt tripping her, like, no, please, like, I've been over there for so long, like, please do this for me. So they go to the movie theater and they buy tickets. Jenna picks up her phone and is like, let me call Lion, let him know that, we're gonna be at the movies and that we're okay. Noah was like, okay, but before you do that, let me tell you something. Noah was like, please don't freak out. Jenna was like, what did you do? Listen, what happened was, don't turn on your phone. And Jenna turns on her phone and she got 15 missed calls from Nick. And she's like, oh my God, what is happening? Did you tell him? And Noah was like, yeah, I sent him a text message. Jenna was like, why would you do something like that? And I was like, I didn't know how to do it, okay? This is the best I could come up. And then Jenna kind of was making her reason. And she was like, did you at least tell him the baby was his? And Noah was like, wait, no, because Why wouldn't the baby be his? So she grabbed her phone and told Nick, oh, the baby is yours, by the way. To me, it was a whole comedy. Okay, this situation was a whole comedy. I think it was brilliant. It was great. Jenna, of course, decides to take her back home. Noah gets out the car, and as soon as she gets out of the car, she sees Nick coming towards her, mad as heck. And so she freaks out and she gets back in the car and locks the doors. And Nick is like, you need to get out. And Noah was like, Nick is like, can I get in a list? Jenna gives him the keys, he gets in. Nick was, only you would do something like that. Only you would tell someone that you're pregnant over text message. I almost crashed my car. Like, you couldn't like talk to me in person? And so there was no explanation for what she did that, okay? But eventually they talk it out. There is a few arguments here and there, but Nick at this moment is transformed. He's a different Nick. Nick is patient. Nick is not angry. Nick even says, Noah is giving me what I've been looking for my whole life. Someone who loves me unconditionally. And that would be my child. That would be my baby. He eventually comes to the conclusion that Noah is giving him everything that he wanted. And to Nick, that's a child. Therefore, he can forgive her for what happened. It wasn't until Nick went with Noah for a doctor's visit and he heard the heartbeat and saw the baby that for him everything was a new chapter. The second he saw that baby, he said, oh yeah, I love this woman. I'm in love with, oh yeah, I'm gonna get back with this woman because that's my child right there. And everything changed. But what I would say about the book is that there is a little bit of long distance between them. Nick has to go back to New York because he still has things to take care of, but he will be coming back and he will be permanently in LA because of Noah. And Noah was like, if you want to start over with me, we need to do the long distance. We need to like fall in love again, date again, you know, talk about the date, call each other. And that's exactly what they did. One of the things Noah was afraid of was that Nick didn't love her because he hadn't said it. And she told him, you say that you're gonna be responsible, but we can't be together because you haven't even said that you love me. And Nick does end up telling her, I do love you. And I love you like I have never loved anyone. Nick breaks up with Sophia. I'm glad she didn't, you know, she didn't throw up a fight. And after everything, they are like in this good place. Even though they're long distance, they're still in a good place. 2 months later, she's 7 months pregnant. She flies to New York to see Nick for the very first time. They're both excited. He's waiting for her with flowers. It's like the perfect reunion until Nick gets shot by someone who was part of the company he had laid off. This twist they did in the story for me, I hated it. I don't think it was necessary, honestly. I wish that we would have had that perfect reunion where they would get back together. I don't think we saw enough of happy Noah and happy Nick, you know, healthy relationship. I wish we would have gotten more of that, and that's my only complaint of the book, that there was a lot of changes and a lot of twists and a lot of unexpected events that I feel like we didn't get a lot of just Noah and Nick, happy Noah and Nick, even in book 2, even in the first book. So I think that's my only complaint. They do end up having a baby. It's a boy. His name is Andrew. They named him after Nick's grandfather. There is also a situation after the baby is born where Breer and Michael make another appearance. Literally at the end of the book, Breer and Michael end up showing up again, and I think that's also was unnecessary. But that's when we found out that Breer was pregnant with Nick's child, and she didn't have an abortion, but she lost the baby at 6 months pregnant, and so she delivered a unalive baby, and she was traumatized by that. So Nick did feel bad for what had happened with Breer. He asked her to forgive him because he didn't handle things well when they were kids, because it was like a long time ago. And the book ends up with, you know, Nick and Noah getting married. They even do a glimpsed in the future when Nick is like 35 and Noah is 30, and they have a daughter as well. And the book ends with Noah giving back to Nick that car that she promised from the first book. The book ends happily ever after. I enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed the series. It was one of the best series I've read, period. And even though it had a lot of twists and turns, and I wish that it would have had a little more of a healthy side to the relationship, like I didn't feel like Nick and Noah enjoyed any parts of their dating life. Definitely a 10 out of 10 in any way in my books. And if you want to read it, I encourage you to do so. Mercedes Ron, you did an amazing job with this series, and I can see why it's such a success. I hope you guys have liked the review. And if there's a movie in the future, I will be doing a comparison between the movie and the book. But as of today, there is not. There's only the second movie, which came out not too long ago, and it was, to me, a disappointment. So I hope they do not make a third movie. There is a lot of negativity going around with the actors after the second movie. I don't know what's going on exactly. I haven't dived in. I don't think the actors are intending for the movie to have bad publicity. As a writer myself, I wouldn't want to be dragged into whatever is going on with the actors. I don't get caught up on what's going on with publicity when it comes to movies or books. So I would personally say I will lay off a little bit of that. They're actors, they have their lives, they have their issues, just like anybody else. So please do not judge the movie, well, the book, because of what's going on right now with them, with the actors. Please read the books. They are good and they are worth it. So if you have any other questions, if you have any suggestions for me of any books that you would like for me to read, if there's a movie of a book that has already been made, I'm still searching. I don't know everything that has been done an adaptation for. But if you do, let me know in the comments. I am happy to, check it out. And like always, I will see you guys in a few days with another video. But until next time, bye.